everyone, Renee here. So in partnership with SK-II, I'm going to be sharing with you my Pitera story, which really had its origins in the 90s. Of course, we're talking about SK-II's iconic Pitera Essence, and I just finished this entire 75 milliliter bottle recently. It took me a little over 2 months to finish the entire bottle, and I wanted to document it so I can share with you exactly how I use it, when I use it in my routine, and the different changes along the way that I saw happening. So the first time I bought and used this, I was living in Asia at the time, and it was the late 90s, and this was just revolutionary on the beauty scene. Really nothing like this existed on the mainstream at the time. It was many firsts. It was the first watery essence. It was the first single ingredient concentrated formula. And for me, it was the first time I used something that dared not formulate with any unnecessary additives that were purely just for aesthetic user experience. The user experience is very luxurious. It is very refined, and that has a lot to do with just the technology, with how it's made, how it's produced. So this is formulated, manufactured, made in Japan, and contains 90% Pitera. Pitera is a yeast extract that is derived from a very strictly controlled and natural fermentation process. It's a clear liquid with a composition that actually mimics that of our own skin. It's got a lot of natural moisturizing factors in it. It's rich in amino acids, organic acids, peptides, and because of that, enhanced by the fermentation process, our skin just really readily absorbs this. You can feel it when you use it. The skin drinks it up. It doesn't just kind of stay on top. It's kind of fascinating to me that this was birthed in 1980, but it wasn't for decades before anyone else was able to come up with their copycat formulas that were inspired by this. So at least when I started using this, there really was nothing like it for a very, very long time. So there was nothing to compare it to. But I can honestly say that I have tried so many essences that were inspired by this, but I've never considered them dupes. I've never called them dupes because they feel like very different treatments to me. So they have their benefits that are different from this, because every single time I come back to this, it's just in a category of its own. So I use this essence right after cleansing, day and night, before anything else. So I will use this before serums even, because as a general rule, I've always said that I like to go from thinnest to thickest consistency. This will always have the thinnest consistency, but also because it just absorbs so quickly into the skin. It's got a watery texture, but I feel like this actually absorbs faster than water even, which kind of bounces off the skin, but I feel like that has something to do with the 90% Pitera. I like to slowly pat it in. You are going to notice the pungent scent, which I am used to by now. Around halfway through the bottle, I began to notice some very distinct differences. One major one was that I didn't feel the need for exfoliation or an extra exfoliation step. For me, exfoliation has always been a skin-intuitive thing, so when I feel like I need it, I'll do it. It's not something I do like clockwork every few days, but my skin was just not needing it because the texture had already started to feel so much smoother and so much more refined. That was obvious. So if anything, if maybe I was exfoliating a couple of times a week before, it's something that I didn't need as often. In the last 2 months, I probably only just exfoliated twice, but that's just me. Another very noticeable difference is my skin started needing less product. In the beginning, I was so generous, and I usually am with watery skin formulas. But at some point when I was just unconsciously using what I usually use or what I usually think I need, at some point my skin was just not having it. It was like, wow, this is too much. My skin still absorbs it, but it was excessive. So I started using less and less, and towards the end of the bottle, I was just using maybe 2 splashes, and that was all my skin needed. It was just very well hydrated. So undeniably, this has had an effect on my skin barrier. There's not so much transepidermal water loss. It's holding things in. So hand in hand with a more refined skin texture, I did notice my skin looking brighter and more even. Of course, my kind of hyperpigmentation will take a lot more work, but definitely things looked more even to me. When I compare it to my neck, as you can see over here, when you look between my face and that area, then there's definitely a very subtle brightness. It's not lighter, it just looks the tone just looks more healthy. So when I got to my last application, I was actually really, really sad, though this was the perfect size for me because I was kind of moving a few places in the last few months while using this, but you know, it's just not enough. I'm definitely continuing with this journey. I am not ready to not have it in my routines yet. In fact, it's just perfect for me right now. So I have my backup ready. But thank you so much for allowing me to share my Pitera story with you. I know many of you are already fans. For me, I take real pleasure in just always coming back to this to treat my skin when I just want things to be very, very simple. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'm wishing you great skin health. Bye.